Did you say 60?
1-6.
Oh.
Well, we're shooting for 1-5. Yeah, 60. Is that a problem?
Oh.
No problem for me.
You're good. You got this.
Michael's mother and Liv's grandmother.
Oh, Romaine.
Yeah.
I love your name.
Thank you,
It's
Mrs. Rodney.
it's a beautiful Rodney. Good to meet you.
Rodney.
Good to meet you both, Romaine and Rodney.
Lovely.
Wonderful.
Where
Yes.
should we be sitting?
Wherever you want to sit.
I guess we're waiting for Michael to place us.
I don't know where, I saw him out there. He's here. So,
What book should we have?
what?
What book should we have?
The Mishkan Tefillah. This one. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome. Wonderful to see you all this evening. Thank you all for being here. We have many simchas. We have simchas. We are honoring our veterans. We have a special speaker, and we also have Shabbat that we get to lean into. So I invite you all to go to Olam Chesed Yibaneh. It's on your handout. And we bring into this space an intention, a hope, a prayer, a charge to build our world from a place of love. So sing with me, Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, Yadadai, Yadadai, Yadadai. 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 I will build this world from love. I will build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. And you must build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. And if we build this world from love, yadadai, 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 then God will build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. Ooh, yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. Oh, yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. So in our with our simchas this evening, we are really blessed to have two families with kids tomorrow to be officially teenagers, becoming bar and bat mitzvah. And we invite their families up to light the candles. We invite Lev, Tanya, Sophie, Madeline, Romaine, and Arlene, and Justin, Sarah, Mira, and Zoe up to light our candles. We are on page 120. Page 120 of our prayer book, Mishkan Tefillah. You all can do it. Someone appoint a person. And you can get closer to the candles if you want.
We'll block the wine a little bit.
Yeah. Wine next.
Okay, so we could block.
It's grape juice. One, two, three. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת. Amen. יפה מאוד, beautiful. So, everyone who would like to, of this group, you can have a seat. And Lev and Zoe, you're going to come do Kiddush. So, but we're also going to invite up folks who hang on one second. It's also become our custom, or it's become our custom again, to invite folks who are either observing a celebration, or a birthday, you got I don't know, something good happened, or you're here for the first time to come up and join us as we do Kiddush. So anybody who is wanting to come up for just a little bit of grape juice, it's Welch's, but but it is how one of the ways we celebrate Shabbat. So anybody who wants to come up and for a simcha or anything, you're welcome to join Lev and Zoe and me up here. Great, thank you. Okay. One over here. Okay. Oh, cool. One sec. One sec, Mira. And we're on page 123. And remember what it's page 123. 1, 2, 3. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kishanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava u'ratzon inhilanu zikaron lamasei v'reishit ki hu yom tehila lemikrai kodesh zecher ziyat Mitzrayim kivanu v'charta ve'otanu hidashta mikol ha'ayim Shabbat Kodeha Be'ava Uratzon Hinchaltanu Baruch Ata Adonai Mekadesh Chashabat. Amen.
L'chaim. Yafet, great job, Lev and Zoe. Beautiful job. And I like to ask, so what are anything special? What are you celebrating anything this evening? Yes.
So it's more of a powerful night. It's my father's 7th yahrzeit, so it's kind of the completion of a cycle.
Yeah.
Because he died on a Friday night and he died on the supermoon.
Wow.
And so right after he passed, I looked out the window of Lenox Hill Hospital in Manhattan, and I saw this huge moon rise over the Hudson River. And he was 102, and the rabbi said at his funeral that anyone who passes on a full moon, they lived a full life. And
Wow.
he was 102. So.
Wow, Jane, thank you for sharing. Yeah.
I am here because I am the grandmother of the bat mitzvah, Zoe
wonderful.
Sachs, and I'm incredibly joyful and proud and excited for her. And happy birthday, Zoe. It's her birthday too today.
Oh, yeah, happy birthday. And Mira?
Well, it's my sister's birthday today, and she's getting bat mitzvah tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Happy birthday. And Lev and Zoe, you did a beautiful job. You can go have a seat. Oh, yeah. Yeah, do you want a little grape? Yes. Go right ahead. Here.
I'll also say,
Say a l'chaim.
L'chaim.
Here, go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are both very, very proud and happy to be here as the grandmothers of Lev. And particularly, this grandmother has traveled a long distance.
From South Africa. I've arrived from South Africa to be with the family, and especially for Lev.
Wonderful. Mazel tov, l'chaim. Mazel tov, Arlene and Romaine. Wonderful. So I pretty much always forget to share. I'm Cantor Devorah Avery. Rabbi Green is on sabbatical, and I'm really excited. I have Ira here tonight, Ira Greschler here, to help uplift the music on guitar. So we are going to head into more of our service, page 138 for Lechado D. And we have a custom here that we're going to do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we get, right before we get to the 9th verse, we have a custom of rising as we're able and facing the entrance of the synagogue. And this is a nod to welcome in and to greet Shabbat. As our ancestors did in Sfat when this prayer was written. In Sfat in the 16th century, actually. So, right before the 9th verse, we'll rise as we're able to greet Shabbat. So, page 138. Ya la 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 lechado di, ya la 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 likrat kala, ya la 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 penei Shabbat, nekabe. Ya la 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 lechado di, ya la 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 likrat kala, ya la 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 penei Shabbat, nekabe la. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, yishmi'anu El HaMyochad, Adonai Echad, U'Shmo Echad, L'Shem Ul Tiferet, לי תחילה. יאי לי לי, יאללה לה 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 לך דודי, יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יאללה לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. יאי לי לי, יאללה לה 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 לך דודי, יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יאללה לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. יאי לי לי, יאללה לה 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 לך דודי, יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יאללה לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה וצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. יאי לי לי, יאללה לה 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 לך דודי, יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יאללה לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. יאללה לה 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 לך דודי, יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יאללה לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. You can have a seat. Page numbers. Thank you, Alice. So we have two versions of our prayer book. If you have a version that has two numbers, follow the pages in the bracket. Okay? So if you have pages with two numbers, follow the pages in the brackets. Good? Okay. We're going to head to page 142 now for Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem LeShalom, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא בואו לכם לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון ממלך מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון ממלך מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון ממלך מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון ממלך מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא צאתכם לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון ממלך מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא צאתכם לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון ממלך מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא צאתכם לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון ממלך מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. And we turn now to page 146 for Baruch Hu, and we rise as we're able. Ya la la, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la la la. Baruch Hu et Adonai, HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMorach, Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam, 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 Le'end, Yadada. Let's turn to page 149 and read together at the bottom of the page. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, my friend, or cross over? This is an hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, my friend, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim, and on page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Let's be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha Veshinantam levanecha, vedibarta bam, veshivtecha bevetecha, uvlechtecha vaderech, uvshochbecha uvekumecha, ukeshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafot beinenecha, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Let's turn to Micha Mocha, page 158. Lai 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 lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osei vele, Nora tehilot osei vele. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam. Zehelianu ve'amru, Zehelianu ve'amru, Adonai leholam vaed, Adonai imloch leholam vaed. Yai lai 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 yai la 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 yai lai 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 yai la lai 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 ya lai 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 yai lai la la lai yai lai 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 yai lai lai lai. We're going to turn now to our handout for our Hashkivenu. A prayer that God spreads a shelter of peace over us and over all the world. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Let's read together at the top of 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. We rise in body as we are able, or in spirit, and turn to page 164. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Konei HaKol, ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot ve'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, ובקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Let's be seated. On 177, let's read together a prayer of gratitude. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, ulecha na'eh lehodot. And our prayer for peace is on the next page. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim leolam. Ki atahu Melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu Melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol heit ubechol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. We'll take a moment now with the song and prayer of peace in our hearts to take some time for silent prayer. You can read the prayers on the pages on 179 and 180, or you can simply call to mind your own prayers or your own meditations. Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Vegohali, Vegohali. And now we are going to call into our minds and hearts those in our midst who are in need of healing in mind, body, or in spirit. We'll take time now for anybody you are saying prayers for healing. You can call their name out, or you can simply hold their names in your heart. We kind of say the names collectively as one. Liz Holtzman. We hold these individuals in our hearts along with those who are listed in our program, and we lift them up to God and pray that those people we are saying prayers for may find added strength and healing as our prayers are linked with theirs. Our prayer for healing, our Misha Berach, is found on our handout. The text, El Na Rafana La, it comes from Torah. And it means, pray God, please heal her. This is a prayer that we get. It's Moses saying a prayer to Miriam. This is where it comes from. And we can say, El na rafana la, El na rafana lo, him, El na rafana lanu. Please heal us. Wait, capo two. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaChaim Ve'imotenu Hu Yivarech Ve'yirapeh Et HaCholim Et HaCholim El na refana la, El na refana Narefanalo, El Narefanala, El Narefanalano, El Narefanala, El Narefanalo, El Narefanala, El Narefanalano. Mishberach Avotenu Mekor HaChayim Ve'imotenu Hu Yivarech Ve'yirapeh Et HaCholim Et HaCholim El Narefanala, El Narefanalo, El Narefanala, El Narefanalano, El Narefanala, El Narefanalo, El Narefanala, El Narefanalano. And also on our handout, we have our prayer for the hostages, the 101 hostages who have been held in captivity for 405 days. I invite you to join me in this prayer for their release, this prayer for their freedom from captivity. Do you want this? Acheinu kol beit Yisrael, Acheinu kol beit Yisrael, Hanetunim betzara, betzara uvashivya, haomdim bein bayam uvein bayabasha. Acheinu kol beit Yisrael, Acheinu kol beit Yisrael, Hanetunim betzara, betzara uvashivya, haomdim bein bayam uvein bayabasha. Hamakom Yerachem, Yerachem Aleihem, V'yotziei mitzara lirvacha, umeyavel aliora, umeshiabur ligeula hashta bagala, uvizman kariv, hashta bagala, uvizman kariv. So tonight we are honoring our veterans, those who are in our congregation, those in our country, and we have a speaker, Don Price, who's going to share some words with us, and we're very grateful to him for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Which one, right here?
Whichever.
Okay.
Yeah. But
What?
stand, let's stand. Let's get the mic going for you.
Thanks.
So a few months ago, Rabbi Green, for those of you that can still remember who he was, before he left, asked me to say a few words, 3 minutes, about the military service and my group, the Jewish War Veterans. And somehow that morphed into my giving the whole sermon for tonight. And I want to make sure you understand, I'm an engineer. Put me in a room with a formula and a slide rule, no windows, I'm happy. Writing a sentence with words, well, writing a sermon and giving it in front of live people, oy vey. So be that as it may, I'm just trying to lower your expectations for the next 15 minutes. First, a little bit about myself. I grew up in a military family. My father, Joe, was a World War II veteran who served as an officer in the South Pacific and then served during the Korean conflict and retired. And my brother, Jay, served in the Air Force, retired as a pilot. And I went to the Naval Academy and served 5 years on a submarine in the Mediterranean with nuclear missiles aimed at the Soviet Union, undetected, ready to launch. Some of my earliest memories are of going to the Hunter Army Air Force Base in Savannah, Georgia, where I grew up, going to the Officers Club there, and also playing golf with Dad at Paris Island in Beaufort, close by. So he was very proud of his military service, and I think some of that rubbed off on Jay and I as two sons. So now I'm commander of the Jewish War Veterans Organization in Denver. I'm president of the USS Colorado Submarine Association, and I'm the Naval Academy's admissions office representative for Fairview, Boulder, Alexander Dawson, and Longmont high schools. And I think that's why Fred tapped me for tonight, plus I actually volunteered to do this. I want to start by talking a bit about my group, the Jewish War Veterans. The organization was founded in 1896 by 63 Civil War Jewish veterans to counter claims that Jewish Americans had not fought for their country in the Civil War. In reality, Jewish Americans have fought and served with distinction in all of our wars. 18 Jewish Americans have been awarded the Medal of Honor, America's highest award for military valor, from Private Benjamin Levy of New York, New York in the Civil War, to Sergeant Chris Solis of Summerville, South Carolina in Afghanistan. And 58 Jewish Americans gave their lives in conflicts in the Middle East. The youngest was 19-year-old Corporal Ryan Clark of Lancaster, California, and the oldest was 42-year-old First Lieutenant Daniel Farkas of Brooklyn, New York. Included in that list of 58 servicemen and women who gave their lives in these conflicts are two Coloradans, 21-year-old Lance Corporal Mark Engel of Centennial and 25-year-old Staff Sergeant Mike Shackelford of Grand Junction. Today, the Jewish War Veterans is the oldest veterans organization in the U.S., with branches, which we call posts, throughout the country. We advocate for Jewish American and actually all servicemen and women. The Denver branch meets monthly at Temple Sinai in South Denver with breakfast and a speaker. We typically have 30 to 40 vets in attendance, everyone from those who served during the Gulf War and the war in Afghanistan to a 101-year-old World War II veteran who, as an aside, still lives alone, drives, cooks, walks up and down his stairs in his townhome, and loves to tell jokes and stories about his experiences in Europe during and after the war. Everyone is welcome to attend, veteran or not. This past Monday, we celebrated Veterans Day. As many of you probably know, Veterans Day was originally known as Armistice Day to commemorate the signing of the World War I armistice between Germany and the Allies. It was signed at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, the war to end all wars. It became a U.S. national holiday, and then after the Korean conflict, the word armistice was replaced by the word veterans, and so it became Veterans Day, a day to honor and thank all veterans who have served in the U.S. military, not only those who served in World War I. And it's always celebrated on November the 11th. I think it's important, not only on Veterans Day, but throughout the year, to reflect on the freedoms we Americans enjoy. Freedoms that we sometimes take for granted. Freedoms that veterans have fought and continue to fight to protect. I find it interesting in my role as Admissions Office Representative for the Naval Academy that as I interview high school students who want to attend the Naval Academy, those most passionate about attending are first-generation Americans and others with relatives in other countries. These kids don't take their freedoms for granted. They want to serve in the military to help ensure that these freedoms continue. As the Jewish American Medal of Honor recipient Colonel Jack Jacobs said, quote, "Among those who have served to guarantee our liberty are generations of Jewish Americans, all of whom came here to escape the oppression that was endemic elsewhere." It's easy to be complacent about national security when we have state-of-the-art weapons and delivery systems. We forget that our freedom was purchased by people in uniform, and we remain free because our fellow Americans serve and sacrifice for us, unquote. Most of us live our lives, listen to the news, but aren't personally affected by what happens in Russia or China or North Korea or Iran. But make no mistake, the world is a very dangerous place. Those with family and friends in Israel know this, and members of our military know this. Our way of life, our standard of living, are under attack by countries, really by dictators, who want to stay in power and see the U.S. fail. They want to control the world's resources, have their currencies become the standard instead of the dollar, control the seas, and control outer space. And by the way, the Chinese and Russians are well ahead of us in being able to destroy satellites. And as my Academy classmate Steve Cohen has just written about in an article in the New York Sun, the U.S. has 4 shipyards and 17 dry docks to build and maintain Navy ships and submarines, while our near peer, China, has not 4, but 20 shipyards, and not 17, but 140 dry docks. Our military remains the most powerful in the world today, but next year or next decade, one of our advantages is the high quality of officers and enlisted men and women. But like in shipyards, we're at a numerical disadvantage because not enough of us have been going into the military. Only the Marine Corps and the Space Force have been able to meet their recruiting targets, not the Army or the Navy or the Air Force. Why is that? Well, one reason is that about 75% of age-eligible Americans cannot join the military because they're overweight or not physically fit or don't have good enough grades. That's if they wanted to. Far too many don't want to. Serving in the military is hard, very hard. The pay's not great. Personal freedoms are limited. You have to follow orders, eat when you're told to, get up when you're told to, wear what you're told to. You're separated for long periods from your family and friends. Submarines like the USS Colorado go on 6-month deployments, almost all submerged and out of contact. You work long hours with no days off. You're on call 24/7. And the work is, or can very quickly become, very dangerous. You may die, either from combat or a mistake or a malfunction. The U.S. has lost 2 nuclear submarines, the Thresher and Scorpion, and almost lost a third, the Connecticut, 3 years ago, all due to mistakes or malfunctions. And not only is military life hard, but giving back to your country, serving to help ensure our freedoms, doesn't seem to me as important as I remember it being. Again, my academy classmate Steve Cohen, now a New York City lawyer, asks the summer interns he hires, all from top schools, if they would be in favor of mandatory 2-year public service. Could be in the military, could be teaching at an inner city school, or some other civic need. No one has ever told him it would be a good idea. Perhaps even worse, as Miriam Mora writes in her new book, Carrying a Big Shtick, historically, some Jewish American families look down on military service as being too physical and not for those who value brains and scholarship. Moms want their kids to be doctors or lawyers or accountants or even rabbis or cantors, but soldiers or sailors, no thanks. But that's exactly what the military needs, really bright kids who can operate and maintain highly complex, state-of-the-art equipment. And as my fellow Naval Academy alum and former Navy SEAL Dan Murphy, not Jewish, says, the best SEALs are not the strongest, but the nerds who are mentally sharp and can quickly adapt to a changing situation. And although the military is mostly a meritocracy, discrimination still exists. Asians, women, Hispanics, blacks, and others may, with the wrong boss, have to prove themselves more than white males do. My Naval Academy roommate, retired Captain Rick Levy, would tell you that one of his promotions was held up for 2 years because his superior officer didn't like Jews. But having said all that, I believe there are significant benefits to serving. I'm not thinking of the tangible things like the GI Bill or VA home loans. I'm thinking of things that help you become a better person, a better citizen, like discipline, teamwork, selflessness, leadership, always striving to be your best, having the desire to be part of something larger than yourself, patriotism, fighting complacency, constant preparedness, positive pride, doing something important for just a few years of your life, and taking responsibility for and being held accountable for your actions. My hope from all these words is that you will encourage, all of you, your teenage and 20-something friends and relatives to consider the military as an honorable, valuable, and patriotic way to spend a few years of their lives. That's pretty much what I have to say to you on this Friday night after Veterans Day. I hope I have, to some extent, comforted the afflicted among you and afflicted the comfortable. I'm going to end in a couple of minutes with first a public service announcement and then a poem and then some short quotes. The public service announcement is that I'm going to put out on a table at the Oneg after the service some holiday cards that I will send to the crew of the USS Colorado. The Colorado is currently in overhaul, but as I mentioned, they usually go out on 6-month deployments, almost all submerged, out of contact with their families, doing dangerous things like delivering Navy SEALs to hot spots, shadowing both our fleet in the Eastern Mediterranean and also, covertly, Russian and Chinese warships, and keeping the sea lanes open by their hidden presence. It would be wonderful if you could write them a short note thanking the crew for their service and sacrifice, wishing them happy holidays, and signing your name and where you're from. It means a lot to them to know that citizens from their adopted state care. The poem I have was published by the Navy SEAL Foundation. It's titled, "I Want You to Know That I Know." To all our veterans, I want you to know that I know. I know you faced fear and stood up to violence. You protected innocent people and helped them get out of harm's way. I know that your experiences have become a part of you, and just because you left the fight doesn't mean the fight has left you. I know that you might relive things over and over again, and that some injuries may make it hard to think or sleep. I know that there are some wounds that can't be seen. I know you've lost friends in combat, and others have taken their own lives. I know that there's nothing like returning home, but moving forward can be the hardest challenge of all, and that finding a new normal can take work and patience. But I also know that what you did was one of the most important jobs ever. You made our country safer and more secure, and because of you, those who have tried to hurt us never stood a chance. I know the difference you made, and I thank you for your service. I just wanted you to know that. And finally, 3 quotes, some from people you may not like or who may not have liked you. The highest obligation and privilege of citizenship is that of bearing arms for one's country. General George Patton. Some people live an entire lifetime and wonder if they have ever made a difference in the world. A veteran doesn't have that problem. Ronald Reagan. And last, my favorite, any man who may be asked in this century, last century, what he did to make his life worthwhile, I think can respond with a good deal of pride and satisfaction, I served in the United States Navy. John Kennedy. Thank you.
John, thank you so much for your words and for what you shared with us this evening. And I want to invite now all of our veterans who are here to rise as you are able. I have a blessing to offer you. God of compassion, God of dignity and strength, watch over the veterans of the United States in recognition of their loyal service to our nation. Bless them with wholeness and love. Shelter them, heal their wounds, comfort their hearts, grant them peace. God of justice and truth, rock of our lives, bless our veterans, these individuals of courage and valor, with a deep and abiding understanding of our profound gratitude. Protect them and their families from loneliness and want. Grant them lives of joy and bounty. May their dedication and honor be remembered as a blessing from generation to generation. Blessed are you, protector and redeemer, our shield and our stronghold. Compassionate God, source of mercy, we pay tribute to those who have served our country and express our gratitude for their courage and selflessness, both those among us today and those of generations past. This nation built by those born of this soil and those who have come here from all the corners of the earth is on a continual journey toward its destiny. May we never let down those who have served in defense of this country. May we uphold the values of freedom, of the inherent dignity of every human being by our own right conduct, by the kindness and tolerance we show to one another. May we lead the world by an example and become, in the words of Isaiah, a light to the nations. Then will the labors and sacrifices of these veterans be honored not in words alone, but by our deeds. Thank you for your service. We're going to continue now with our service on page 586 for Aleinu, and we rise as we are able. 586, and then we'll head to 591. at the bottom of the page. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. 591 ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Let's be seated. We now think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season and years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. I invite you to please share the name or names of the loved ones whom you are saying Kaddish for this evening. We continue to remember those whose death recently occurred, whose shloshim, 30 days of mourning, we still observe. Gerald or Jerry Sloat, husband of Gail Sloat, and our Baal Tekiah of 47 years here at Har HaShem. Bob Stein, mother of Marnie Zapin. Florence Flo Bleish, sister of Joyce Berger and aunt of J.C. Berger and Sharon Berger. Harriet Salomon, mother of Caroline Salomon. Mike Bovarnik, father of Rich Bovarnik, and Rhoda Blake, mother of Sherry Schnee. On this Shabbat, we commemorate the yahrzeit of the following: Rachel Hassan Al-Hadef, Leon Atkind, Milton Barnert, Molly Krovitz Bernhardt, Peter Bon Elkenes, Leonard Brennauer, Howard Cantor, Randy Robinson Cohen, Ben Cohn, Mark Ehrlich, Joel Eisenberg, Nancy Gannett, Annie Andries Goldberg, Morris Goldman, Charles Henderson, Maxine Carpel, Paula Klein, Jill Kreitman, Sarah Sally Levenstein, Isidore Lipton, Charlene Marsh, Gloria Mendelson, Shepard Mess, Rochelle Reese, Trudy Ritter, Cecilia Schneider, Roland Schell, Beth Sonnenborn, Harry E. Stein, Andrew Stern, Jane Block-Toby, Doris Vossler, Sydney Weiss, Byron Veen, Jack Wishnick, and Simon Zucker. Are there any names that were accidentally left off? May their memories be for a blessing. It is our custom here to say our Kaddish prayer together and rise as we're able, shoulder to shoulder, standing with those who are in mourning. Page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, b'agala uv'izman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit alev, v'yit halal, shemei de kudasha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen, yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru amen, oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all who mourn, to all of Israel and all the world. And let us say, Amen. You can have a seat. Except for, hang on a second. Wait, do I have it here? No, I do. I'm just kidding. Except for Zoe and Lev. Come on up. No. You doing anything tomorrow? So it's really an honor, honestly an honor to have worked with the two of you and seen you grow and learn and continue to become the wonderful humans that you already are. And so we present you with your yads that you have made. Here's yours, Zoe, and here's yours, Lev. And you're going to use it tomorrow to chant Torah, we hope that you use it in the years to come, and that you chant Torah many more times in your lives. And we're just so proud of you here, okay? Thank you for just showing up and being who you are and being bright lights in this world. Okay, and you can give those back to me at the end if you want. Okay, Mazel Tov. Mazel Tov. So I want to just thank Dawn for your words once again, for being here tonight, for our veterans for being here. Thank you to Ira for your playing and uplifting our service and our worship. And really just thank you to all of you. We're going to end with This Land is Your Land. And we're doing just the first 3 verses on your handout in the back. You think we can do this? We got this? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Okay. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. As I was walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. I roamed and rambled, and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts, and all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. When the sun came shining and I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving, and the dust clouds rolling. As the fog was lifting, a voice was chanting, this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. Shabbat Shalom. Whoever gets to the challah first does the blessing. Shabbat Shalom and thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. But good job trying to find it. You did.